Welcome back to the Black Hills and Eastern Railroad, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at my quick and easy, cheap method for picking up power with freight car trucks from the rails to power maybe like a mobile decoder, in my case LEDs. And you guys might recognize immediately what these freight car trucks are, but I'm going to withhold details about the bigger project until later on. This is will be a two-part series, and in this episode we will deal with just simply installing the pickups and actually doing a little bit of weathering on the trucks before we do that. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got here a couple of bottles of craft paint. One is a burnt umber. This is actually cheap craft paint from, I think, Walmart. So this is like your kind of your rusty brown, muddy brown, and then black. And we're going to use both of these together to paint these wheel faces because we've got really quite a shine on those and we want to knock that down a little bit. I've actually got two pair of trucks here that I'm doing this time, and I'm just going to do a very small amount of paint. I want to shake it up first a little bit to make sure that pigment's all around in there. So I've actually got two pair of trucks here that I'm going to do to weather. At least I'm only going to put power from one of these. This pair here and this other pair is for a freight car that does not require power pickup, but we're going to weather them just the same. And I'm going to put a little bit of this craft paint on a post-it note here, and probably that's way more than I need. And I'm going to put a little bit of this burnt umber as well. So we're going to start by taking those wheels off of the between those plastic journal bearings, and we're just going to go ahead and get painting here a little bit. I'm going to try and avoid getting on that needle bearing as much as that's possible, and spreading that paint around a little bit on the face of that wheel. So I thought I'd make a clarification here that I'm not painting the back sides of these wheels, the ones that I'm going to have pickup on anyway. I could probably paint the back sides of these, but for the freight car that they're on, they're probably not necessary. I'll bring you back in a little bit when I'm putting together pickups on these and got these trucks reassembled, and we'll go from there. So it's the next day here again, and we are ready to begin assembling the power pickup assemblies on these trucks. And of course we have our wheel faces painted here, and this may be your introduction to soldering, and that, if so, that's great. This is a good place to start with that. We are going to use these KD. These are traditional number 5 style centering springs, and if you don't have these on hand, you can ask your hobby retailer to get you in bulk. They are part number 634, KD 634. They come in packs of a dozen, and so that should cover you. You need 4 of them to do a one set of freight car trucks, and we'll dive into it. We're gonna modify these slightly for what we need here. So I'm just gonna take and bend these arms out, these the actual spring part, and then I'm going to take a side cutter and shorten that little brass plate there a little bit. I'm just cutting that, and I don't have the same side cutter the last time I did this, so there we go. We cut through that. So what we're going to end up doing here is taking this piece of brass and gluing it to the back side of the truck here once we have the wheels installed, and then have our wire. Well, I've got some very flexible, this is stranded wire. I think this is important to use stranded wire for this this application here. We're going to use red and black so we can kind of tell the difference once we get inside the car, which rail is which, or which pickup is which, so we don't intermix the two and get a dead short. And I'm going to strip that wire back a little ways. It really does feel like a rubber band underneath there. So what we end up with is the open side of the centering spring. We're going to glue this down here like this on the bottom side of the truck, and making contact with our our metal wheels. So I finally got wise here and decided to put the 3 remaining wires in the pliers all at one time, and I'm tinning them all at once here. Tinning, if you're not familiar with soldering, is just basically the process of getting the material ready to make the joint with where you're making it. Okay, now we'll solder a little pad on the centering spring itself. I'm going to heat the spring and then let that solder run on there. Red to this side. There's a good joint. The other red. And then we've got the other black here. No cold solder joints here. So now I've drop a CA onto this post-it note here, and I'm spreading some of that CA onto the surface where we're going to attach that pickup. So then I'm going to use this toothpick to situate that centering spring down next to the bolster, not on top of it. You'll feel, well, I suppose it depends on the manufacturer of the truck. So again, I'm going to take my toothpick here and situate that centering spring down next to the bolster, as so not to interfere with the oscillation or steering of the truck as the rail car goes down the rails. I've got my craft paint out here again, and we're going to knock down the shine on these here a little bit, just in case you can see these from the again, the KD centering springs number 632. Have your hobby dealer get you those if you don't have those on hand. Otherwise you can get those out of a pack of number 5s, I guess. They're the common centering spring that comes with those. So you'll be ready in no time for your mobile sound decoder for your whatever you're putting these freight car trucks under. I know what this is going to go under. That's a project for next time. Next week's full format episode will feature us putting these trucks underneath the application which we're using them on, and I'm guessing you guys have got figured out where they're going. But we'll leave that for that episode. A little bit of channel news here. I've decided to take a step back from the weekly uploads. With next week's episode will be the final episode of Season 1 here on the Black Hills and Eastern Railroad. We're going to be doing a couple of vacation plans. I'll bring you some pictures from that. And probably a couple of fun projects over the summer here, but not on a weekly basis. So we'll be back with Season 2. Probably more regular uploads starting. I'm not sure exactly when that'll be. We'll keep you up to date on that for sure. So I hope you like the content here. Smash that like button. Subscribe for more. Leave us a comment. How did you do your pickup projects? And if I'm lucky, I'll see you in the next one.